Hello, my beautiful souls. I'm so happy to be here with you again today. Today is day 2 of our 3-day April eclipse experience. And I'm excited about today because today we are building on what we started on yesterday in day 1. Day 1 was all about your first life, right? Reflecting. That was all about step 1, was reflecting on your first life and seeing, like, you're doing housekeeping. It's like you're taking an inventory and saying, okay, I've got too much of this. I don't want this anymore. It was really a matter of going through, itemizing, really looking at everything and saying, what am I done with? What do I no longer need or want to carry forward with me in this new creation cycle? Because what we're moving into now, we're going to be in a place of accelerated creation, accelerated manifestation. And you may be saying, well, I thought it was already accelerated now. Yes, very much. And things are just going to be getting quicker. But not just that, we have the ability now to create distortion-free, right? It's a brand new creation cycle that I talked about in the first 2 videos, the energy updates for the April 8 eclipse. If you haven't watched those, I encourage you to go back. If you want to get more up to speed on the energetics of all of this, please do. But we're moving into this new creation cycle where we do not need to repeat the patterns and the separation of the past. We are able now, since March, there has been a complete new reinvention almost of our ability to create at the human level, at the physical level. And so if you choose, and if you are prepared in the sense that you have let go and shed a lot of this lower mind programming, programmed mind, programmed behavior, if you have let go of that and you are now in a position where you're able to open to all that's available in this new creation template, then your experience can be completely different than it ever has been. What we're doing in the 8th is it's a threshold we're crossing over, but it is a pivotal point of rapid expansion of consciousness, because everybody, think about this. It's not just you that is having this desire to revisit, this desire to refine and clean up and get things in order. And let's get straight. I just want what I want now. I want to be aligned. I want to feel like I have clarity. I want to feel like I'm clean. I don't want to feel the distortions and all of this. If it was just happening to you, it'd be one thing, but it's happening to the collective. So because that is happening at rapid speed for everybody, you can just imagine what it's going to look like in even a couple of weeks' time. Now, the changes that we're going to start to witness is going to take place over days, weeks, months, and years. But this is a key launch pad for all of that. So what you started yesterday in the day 1 exercise, right? Looking at your first life. There you go. Looking at your first life, and then now we're moving into the second life. The first life was a big step because without knowing what you want to let go of, there's no room for what you want to move into moving forward. It's kind of like having a closet that is full of clothes. It's brimming. It's just like it's stuffed full of clothing that you don't really want anymore. It's not who you are. You put those clothes on and you just, you feel icky. It feels like an old version of yourself. And it is. But until you can clear those things out of the closet, empty the closet, ideally, if you want a big change and you really want to get into alignment, you're clearing out that whole closet. You're cleaning the cobwebs. You're dusting. You're taking everything out that does not serve because it does not feel like the you want to be. And you're only putting back in the things that do not attach you to that old identity. And that analogy is very much like what we're doing now. So doing the exercise from yesterday, the day 1 exercise, is critical. So if you haven't done it, please go back and do it. Just take a few minutes. It doesn't have to take a long time. But if you want to go deeper, go for it, because every minute you spend on it will be time worth it. In fact, after I'm done recording this, I'm going back to my list that I started yesterday, and I'm going to just set myself up someplace beautiful outside, and I'm going to really dive into it. Because I want to capitalize on this beautiful catapult that we're going to be going through in the next day or so. And so I encourage you to do the same. Okay? So we're now stepping into phase 2 or step 2, which is attune. So step 1 was reflect, and that's what you were doing before. Now we're going into attune. Okay, so attuning is about attuning to the frequency of your higher ascended self. The one that is free basically from imprints of your first life, imprints of distortion, where you're able to create distortion-free, or as some will say, karma-free. It's free of all of that. Okay? This is what allows us to open to your next life, that clean, open closet that is ready for the new identity that is so much more resonant to who you are. And so that's what we're doing with this attunement. So it's the purpose of this eclipse, really, and what we're doing here together, yesterday, today, and the days after, is really about preparing and freeing ourselves from this distortion and preparing ourselves to be able to create in this new way. Okay? So we're creating in a more organic way. Organic meaning more resonant with who you are becoming vibrationally and evolutionarily in your consciousness, right? Who you are evolving into. So what does it mean to be creating in organic form? So this organic template, there is some confusion, as like, oh, we want to leave the matrix, or we want to let go of the matrix. It's not exactly what we're doing. Every planet has a matrix, and the matrix that has been our playground up till this point was an inverted matrix or a distortion matrix. So it wasn't representative in truth of who we are and what we're capable of. And so that stopped streaming several years ago. As soon as 2020 came around, that was done. And what was left is the original organic matrix of the planet. So when I'm talking about creating in a more organic form, this is creation as we always knew we could and always intended to, until we kind of sidetracked and played with the distortion because it was fun, because it was challenging. Well, we're done with that. So very much like your list, okay, your first life list, you were making a list of all the things that you're done with. But in the same way, I want to encourage you that when you start working with this even more, your first life list of things you're done with, don't be pushing it away like, oh my God, I'm so done. Even though that's usually how we often begin feeling about those things. But in the reality is we want to bring ourselves into more of a neutral state. Say, okay, I don't choose that anymore because it's not my preference. I want more. I know I'm capable of more. Creating in this organic way from a place that is clear of all or much of the distortion from that first life experience is bringing in abundant flow. It is bringing in the ability to forever be regenerating in the physical body. It's opening up to the way our cells are familiar with living. They have the memory of pre-inversion template, pre-distortion matrix. And they remember. All we have to do is catch up almost to that ascended cell experience and begin to operate without the programs leading the way and leading from a place of higher consciousness and higher frequency. The body knows what to do, but we are allowing this template of perfection to come to the surface and allowing ourselves to not just create within our bodies more of what we want, which is like less disease, less aging, less fatigue, or none of those things as we really begin to master it, but also in our external world, more harmony in our relationships, more joy in creativity, more being what we often term as being on purpose with our work or our careers or our offerings. All of that is involved in this organic expression that we're moving into. So it's the freedom to create and play in ways that we came to, unencumbered, uninhibited. And I'm not talking about uninhibited like from the egoic perspective where like anything goes and it's all mayhem. I'm talking about the freedom to create that is much more in resonance, that is all not service to self, so to speak, but service to the whole. Which, when you are in your organic state, when we are in our organic state, we feel connected to others. There's not so much separation. In fact, as we merge out of the separation experience, this inversion matrix that we have been playing within, the idea of competition starts to dissolve. And I know for many of us, this is challenging to think about because we were raised in the idea of competition. We were raised competitively, and it just goes so deep into so much about our culture, with business, with work, with sports, with looks, with it all. But that begins to dissolve the more we shed the programming and we recode to what our original organic divine template is really all about. So this is essentially who you came here to be. We came here to be alive, radiant, and uniquely unstoppably you. That is what we came to do. And so this process we're going to is opening the door to that. And it's a process that won't be complete in one day, but we are setting the stage, we are pre-paving so that we can have this experience unfold beautifully without a lot of challenge, without a lot of pressure and fear or anxiety. Because the reality is the world around you can be crumbling. But if you are on this trajectory that I'm talking about here, the rest of the world can be crumbling around you, and the only thing crumbling around you can be the things that you want to let go of. The old fears, the worries, the old ways of doing things, and doing it from a place of centeredness, groundedness, and a knowing that you are right where you need to be, that you are right on time, and that things are going exactly as the higher aspects of you have been intended. And that's why it feels good. It feels good to relax into that. Okay, I've gone on a bit of a tangent, but I know it's been supportive. So from this place, let's pick up. So I want you to let that sink in. And now we're going to shift gears and we're going to go back into this exercise for today. So let's look at and put Attune into practice now. I'm going to need to take a sip of water. If I can get my thing open. Yeah, it's a beautiful day here, by the way. I'm in Muskoka, and it's like spring here. So I guess we're in the northern hemisphere, and we are coming out of winter time. And so the energy around spring is really ripe right now. It's beautiful here. And timed very perfectly for this eclipse because the energy of spring is so supportive for what we're moving into. Okay, so today we are working on Attune, as I mentioned. Today we're also working with source code 7. Now, source code 7 gives us really clear access to the divine, which is what we want today. It's giving us access to that Christed consciousness that already resides within you at a DNA level. And what we're doing is we're going to invoke this consciousness. I'm not talking like voodoo or anything like that, the word evoke, okay? Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm talking about evoking within you, okay? So evoking this feeling, this consciousness, and bringing that into your energy field of the source code 7 and all that it entails. So you don't have to really even get into all of the details. Like, well, I don't know exactly what source code 7 is. Or I don't know of all the meanings. You can just relax your mind. It's your mind, the ego mind, that needs to know all the details, but your DNA knows exactly what that means. Okay, it is our attachment. Our DNA is our connectedness to the divine, to our source selves. And so when I say the words, we're going to invoke source code 7 and allow that frequency to come forward. Just know that you will be doing all you need to do, and the rest is very much governed by your soul and higher self. They know exactly how to help and support you with that. So the first thing that we're going to do is, from this higher consciousness and vibratory state that we will bring in with source code 7, we're going to take a few minutes and really sink into who would you be if you truly did leave all of that behind? And who would remain without them? What would it feel like to stand in this new you, free of all of that? So let's do that together now. This is the first part, okay? Step 1 is we've brought in source code 7. So just do this together with me now. Bringing forward source code 7. Allow the frequency of what that is to simply begin to emerge within you. The mind wants to know what that is. It doesn't need to. If you can just quiet the mind, become still, and call into your consciousness the source code 7. 7. The frequency of the 7. Beautiful. Notice what that feels like. This Christed, golded essence. Take a deep breath and relax. Beautiful. Okay. Now, feel this frequency. Feel it as it is writhing through your body. Notice how that shifts. Notice how your frequency has shifted. Beautiful. Now, this state, from this place, simply ask your higher aspects, your soul, your multidimensional self, to show you what it feels like to be program-free. To be free of all of those things that you indicated on your list for your first life. Notice what you feel. Allow that frequency of the 7 to get into all of your cells, penetrating all of your cells. In fact, see the number 7 inside all of your cells now. It's like a training wheels way of getting there. Beautiful. So all of these trillions of essence of source code 7 emanating through you at a cellular level, radiating from your DNA. Notice the temperature of your body. Notice the moisture in your body. What do you notice? This is you, free from the things that you have selected and anything resonant with them. Free from your blueprint. This is what it feels like. There is a lusciousness about this experience. There's a fullness, a pureness, a steadiness. Notice what it feels like. Swim in this frequency for just a little while longer. Notice what it feels like to be this version of yourself. See yourself now standing in any situation. It really doesn't matter. Situations that you don't prefer. And see yourself now in this body, holding this frequency of your ascended self. Notice you're steady, you're calm. You are the witness, but the witness of the Creator. You, as the creator of your reality experience, witnessing your creation, feels very different. All right, now take one deep breath in and let it out. Beautiful job. Now, from this place, you're going to go back to your paper. And on the right side, okay, my next life. Look, it makes it so dark. Okay, my next life. Let me see, point it there. Let me see if I can get it light. There we go. My next life, from there, from this place, this expanded expression of you, I want you to go back to your paper and write down, describe this new identity that you have stepped into. It's not something fleeting. You have stepped into it. You have attuned yourself to it. We'll play with this more, but just know that what you have done just in these few minutes has been huge. So write down, stay in this feeling state, go to your paper and write down what it feels like to be this liberated expression, this upgraded version of yourself now. Now, when you stay out of what it looks like and you let go of the specifics of what you'll be doing, which I'm asking you to do, you're just describing what it feels like to be in this consciousness. Because when you stay out of, well, I'm driving this car, or I'm doing this work, or my mission, or, this partner, or this family, we start to immediately shift back into the lower mind. Because we're looking at specifics and we have the potential to bring up resistance because it activates programming. All we want to do now is just stay swimming in this frequency. And how do you do that? Let go of the specifics. Stay in what it feels like. Okay? So do that and write it all down. Share as much as you can. Stay in this energy. When you stay in this energy longer than 68 seconds, even as much as 17 seconds at this time, 16 seconds, you start to create a perpetual frequency that moves into the quantum field and begins to create for you. So we're starting this new earth creation template for you right here. So trust me when I say stay in this place for just a few minutes, and you describing what it feels like is the first step to that, and it will hold you in that frequency longer. Okay? All right, is there anything else I want to share with you here? No, just take your time, sink into these higher states. And as you write, make notes of any ideas that come forward, because you're going to be in a really receptive state. Okay? Whether or not we're deliberately looking for it, you will most likely start to receive information. If you don't, that's fine. You don't need to. But if you do, make note of the things that come to mind for you. Stay in this state. Hold your frequency. If you find yourself wobbling a bit, just call on source code 7. Okay? Bring yourself back there. You don't need to think about anything. Just invite that frequency in and stay quiet. Focus on your heart, and then notice how the frequency of your entire field shifts to attune to that frequency. Okay? Beautiful. You've done fantastic. Now the last step, so number 4, is, and this is an important piece to integrating too. So if you're able to do it, if you are part of the Facebook group, then do it, because we're doing extra stuff in there to help with the integration of this. So the next step is to share what you have uncovered, what you noticed, everything that you were writing down. Pull from that. What was this experience like for you? Share it in the Facebook group, Elevate, ELEV, the number 8, TE. The Elevate Facebook group is where we're playing with all of these things, and it's not too late to join. We are going well beyond the eclipse. So get into the Facebook group and do this part, especially if you're already in there. This part is going to be amazing. What we're going to be doing is we're creating a group avatar inside the Elevate Facebook circle. And in there, the frequency will just continue to rise and rise and rise. And what happens when you're in a container where the frequency is constantly rising? You attune to it and you rise too. So please do this for you. And by default, you're going to be doing it for our collective. And as a default from that, you will continue to elevate. It just accelerates the process of elevation, and it accelerates and makes it more effortless because you're now entering into a container that is designed to ascend and accelerate and elevate. Okay? Any questions, please leave them in the comments below. If you're not already part of the Facebook group, I encourage you, come on in. It's really friendly and a beautiful space in there. And we're having a lot of fun with this. So I hope to see you in there. And until next time, I'm sending you so much love.